Magpapaturo ka ba? Sugilin na ang pandemya. Magpapaturo ka ba?
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. The mystical, the magical, and the occult, made easy by G and Marge Santos on Mystical Buffet, aired every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This program gives insights and guidance in the world of essential spirituality and wisdom of the ages. Its aim is to share extraordinary topics to everyday lives of ordinary people. Walk with them in a mystical, alternative, and less than ordinary path of life. Watch them every Saturday on Radio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel RJAM News.
Good evening, Philippines, and welcome to another episode of Mystical Buffet. It's May 22, Saturday, and it's summer evening. Medyo mainit. Mainit na ngayon. Oo. So, I'll be again with my ever-beautiful partner, Marge.
Thank you so much for the very nice introduction, as always. And good evening to everyone. This is supposedly your Saturday habit.
Yes.
We hope.
Once a week lang kami.
Oo, we hope that it's your Saturday habit. Medyo gabi na po kami para sa mga late na tulog.
Yeah, maaga pa yan. 9 o'clock pa lang eh.
Hindi, pero maraming yung mga kaedad natin, natutulog na sa
mga 45 and above. Diba?
So anyway, anong topics natin ngayon, G?
We have the solar and lunar eclipses. We'll be talking about that. Kasi malapit na may lunar eclipse daw eh.
Oo, meron.
So mamaya, malalaman yung schedule kung kailan yan.
Tapos ano naman ang mga nangyayari sa kapaligiran. Kasi kanina nakita natin sa news na magkaiba yung approach ng Spain from yung approach ng Germany when it comes to inbound travelers.
Okay. Pwede na eh, may traveling inalaw na yung traveling, 'di ba, pagpasyal, parang staycation or whatever, you can go to Europe, to America, ganyan.
Oo, yun.
Inalaw na.
Alaw na yun.
Okay.
So, ang pagkakaiba po sa Spain, wala na yung mga quarantine.
Okay.
Tsaka wala na yung mga travel pass. Pero yung sa Germany, iba yung approach nila. Approach ng Germany is still the same. Medyo pa rin sila yung especially those coming from UK, maraming variants ng COVID-19. May ingat sila. Meron sila 14 days quarantine. So, syempre, you really think twice bago ka magbakasyon sa isang lugar na gano'n. Kasi kung wala ka namang matitiran doon, mag-hotel ka, 14 days ka muna in quarantine.
So may mga protocols pa din.
Oo,
diba?
pero
bago ka makasakay ng aeroplano, kailangan mo paswab muna.
Pero
Diba?
hindi sa lahat ha.
Oo.
Pero very stringent kayo yung ano. Hindi nga daw allowed yung travel pass eh. Kasi a lot of people say na parang it's encroaching on the human rights of people. So,
Okay.
parang dito sa atin, talagang kailangan magpa-swab ka bago ka umalis.
Mhm.
So, I don't know about other places. No? Hindi ko pa yan masyadong nare-research. Ang nakita ko lang sa news is between Spain and Germany, kung ano yung kumbaga kung ano yung attack nila dun sa inbound travelers. Ano yung attitude nila.
Mhm.
So, yun na nga, Germany is very stringent. You have to have 14 days quarantine bago ka makapagliwaliw dun sa lugar na yun.
Oh.
So, isipin mo yun ha, kung magbabiyahe ka doon, 14 days ka muna naka-quarantine. Ubus na yung bakasyon mo.
Hindi, kahit yung mga pupuntang Amerika, di ba? May protocol, ano yung sabi ni Ate Becky?
Sa America, I think is isa-swab ka, tapos
4 days.
4 days.
Oo.
Tapos after you get the result, then you have 7 days
Of quarantine.
Tapos
Self-quarantine nandun sa...
pero sa
US
tutuloyan mo, kung kunyari you have a house or relatives there, madali lang.
Mhm.
Madali lang. Kasi nandun ka na naman sa bahay eh. Pero at least nandun ka na.
Mhm.
Diba? Kaya sa kunyari nasa facility ka, nasa hotel ka, or like yung kung tourist ka lang sa isang lugar, punta ka ng Europe, iba-iba yung protocols nila.
Okay.
So yun po yung nakita natin sa news na marami tayo babatiin ngayon.
Oo. Tsaka ang tanong ko, may vaccine na ba kayo? Nagpa-vaccine na ba kayo?
Bakit ikaw? Tanungin kita.
Malapit na.
Malapit na. Kami po ni G, I think...
Nag-schedule na kami.
Kasi I think part of yung pagtulong natin sa buong mundo, tsaka dito sa Pilipinas, part sa pagtulong natin is for us to get vaccinated.
Papakuna na kayo.
Ako, takot. In fact, I had a tele-consultation last night because ang dami-dami kong tanong.
Oo, tsaka yung research mo, grabe. Ha? On the different vaccines available.
Yeah, my research, actually, I can explain that so that the listeners can easily understand what it's all about. Anyway, patiin muna natin yung mga nandito na. Of course, nandito na si Ate Remy Beltran Gonzalez from Marilao.
Yan. Oo. Okay. Sino pa?
Sammy Agustin.
Sami. Malolos. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Nandito na rin po si Jolene
Of course, si
from Pampanga.
Yun.
Sabi ni Sammy, hello, good PM, and maganda yung topic mamaya. Yes, kasi natin, i-segue natin yung about the eclipse to the mga belief ng Hindus and feng shui practitioners.
So,
kung ano yung
relevance ng eclipses?
Relevance ng eclipses.
Sa feng shui and Hindu population.
Beliefs nila.
Yeah.
So, God's evening, sabi ni Remy, and watching from Marilao.
Yeah. So, we are live via Facebook. Yeah. DZRJ 810 AM, Voice of the Philippines. Teleradyo tayo. You can catch us at the Sky Cable Channel 224 and TV Plus boxes. Ayun. And please like and subscribe.
And click the bell icon.
At YouTube, RJAM News.
But don't forget to click the bell icon sa Mystical Buffet po para we can get in touch with you every Saturday. Siyempre, nami-miss natin yung mga regular listeners. Oo. Yun. So, minsan mo, wala sila dito, although you can see that there are other people viewing. Kasi kung nasa channel 224 sila.
Ayan. Kagaya nino, sino nasa channel 224?
Hindi natin alam. Kasi hindi natin nakikita yan. Huwag ka manghula. Wala kang alam.
Mag-text lang kayo.
Yun. So anyway, so maganda yung topic natin. Pero meron din yung babatiin si G. Actually, meron akong babatiin about 2 days ago. Nagpunta rin siya dun sa bagong bukas ng buffet.
Ay, oo, bukas na
Spiral.
yung pinakasikat na buffet dyan.
Oo.
Oo, puntahan niyo na.
Yes, and of course,
Yay.
nagdala doon yung
Oo, diba?
nagkaroon sila ng photo op sa executive chef
Siyempre.
na
Oo.
kilala niya.
Mm.
Kilala ko. Anyway, so thank you very much for patronizing the best buffet for us.
Oo, in Manila.
Sa Manila. Thank you very Architect Freddy Bautista
Yeah,
and
Freddy.
wife Bing Bing.
Oh, happy anniversary
Happy
to you
anniversary.
too. Oo.
Tapos ngayon, tonight, nandun na yun si
Ay, kababata ko. Oo, sa San Valley.
Si
Marita Santos Daileg. Yeah.
okay. It's
Birthday niya.
it's her birthday.
Pero
Tapos
secret yung age niya. Secret.
Hindi, pero anniversary din nila.
Anniversary. Happy anniversary to you, Raymond and Marita.
And
Daileg.
happy birthday to Marita.
Yun, oo.
Nakakatawa. Nakakatawa, tinanong ni Marita si G, bakit ang gaganda ng daughters mo?
Siyempre, maganda yung nanay eh.
Hindi, sabi ko sa Kuchang, syempre kasi gwapo ka. Oo, yun.
Ayos, di ba?
Oo.
Oo.
Ito naman sa Don Bosco group niya, ang sabi,
Siyempre, so
Siyempre
pamagmamana yun.
syempre sa pamagmamana yun, manang-mana. Tapos sabi ni G, syempre, manang-mana sa akin.
Oo.
Sabi daw,
Di ba?
anong sagot? Hindi, manang-mana sa nanay.
Manang-mana sa nanay,
Hindi.
siyempre.
Hindi no. Anyway, thank you so much. Just one of the blessings in life that that the kids are all doing so well. And
So, subukan nila yung food trucks doon sa number 1 buffet doon.
oo.
Ha? May
Pero
food
ano
truck
po,
sila sa labas.
Pero
Highly recommendable.
Isa sa mga news natin yan, na dati po 20% of indoor dining lang ang allowed. Ngayon po, 30% na.
Sa indoor, pwede ng 30%.
Tapos hindi ako sigurado kung 50% na sa ano.
Sa labas,
Sa labas.
Oh,
sa
50.
sa dining.
50% allowed ang capacity sa labas.
Okay. So yun, that's very good news for yung natin, mga
Foodies.
eateries natin, mga restaurants and
Food lovers.
yeah. At saka para dun sa mga, yun ang negosyo nila, yung mga restaurant. Di ba, at least nga mag-pick up na ng konti kasi noon,
Kailangan na eh.
noon, di ba, lugi talaga yung mga buffet.
Ay,
Kasi
hindi pwede magbukas eh. Oo, ganun din eh.
daming staff, tapos ang tao, limited.
Oo.
So ngayon, it's better that they're a bit, relaxing on the capacity. Yun. So, simulan na natin yung ating main topic.
Okay, so solar and lunar eclipses can occur only during a short period of time known as the eclipse season. So no two eclipse seasons are the same, and some are particularly noteworthy. So the upcoming eclipse season, which is May to June 2021, this month and next month, will produce a pair of full eclipses. Okay.
Isang lunar at saka isang solar.
So a total lunar eclipse on May 26, 2021. Lunar yun ha. Ibig sabihin yan, the Earth will be in between the Moon and the Sun. Yun ang lunar eclipse. Tinatakpan ng Earth yung And an annular solar eclipse will be happening on June 10, 2021. So this kind of pairing is not rare. It happens on average once every 8 years or so. Okay. Still, this upcoming pair of eclipses is unusual in that we'll have a especially short lunar eclipse and especially long solar eclipse.
Okay.
So when two full eclipses are squeezed into a single fortnight, which is
2 weeks
2 weeks.
or 15 days.
Yeah, the alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun for each event is only just good enough to produce a totality or an annularity.
Ito tanongin kita ngayon kung ano yung annularity.
Annularity is what?
Bakit ako?
From the word root word annual, it means
Annular.
1 year. Oh.
It's hindi annual yan.
Oo, ano?
That's annular.
Oo nga. Oo, ano?
Kasi may annulus yan.
Paki-explain nga.
May explain natin yan.
Ah,
The
sige.
total lunar eclipse of May 26, 2021, the totality, when the moon is fully submerged in Earth's shadow, will last a little over 14 minutes. That duration will make it the 10th shortest totality for a lunar eclipse for approximately 1,000 years span. Between the year 1600 and 2599, ngayon lang magkakaroon ng napaka-iksing lunar eclipse.
Oh.
So in terms of the total worldwide duration of the eclipse, which includes partial and penumbral phases, the May 26 event is even more exceptional. It is the second shortest of all 693 total lunar eclipses in the same 1,000 year span.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Ito yung pinaka-short talaga na lunar eclipse. Sa lahat ng eclipses, which total 693. Ito yung pinaka-maiksi in a 1,000 year span.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, and a long solar eclipse within the same period, the June 10 annular solar eclipse is also notable for its length. Although it is not particularly long when compared to solar eclipses in general, it stands out as having the 5th longest worldwide duration, including the partial phases of any total or annular solar eclipse that is paired with the total lunar eclipse in the same eclipse season. So between the years 1600 and 2599, there are 2,108 eclipse seasons. Of this, only 126 seasons contain a pair of full eclipses, one total or annular solar eclipse plus one total lunar eclipse. How the May to June 2021 eclipses compare to others. So the worldwide duration of the annular solar eclipse on June 10, 2021 is 17,939 seconds or just under 5 hours.
Grabe, no? Solar eclipse long talaga siya. 5 hours siya.
5 hours. For a full solar eclipse that occurs in the same season as a total lunar eclipse, this turns out to be unusually long. It is the 5th longest solar eclipse in our 1,000-year sample of 126 pairs of full eclipses.
This means that the worldwide duration of the total lunar eclipse on May 26, 2021 is likely to be very short. Kasi ang baba ng solar eclipse. And indeed it is. Its total length of 18,177 seconds, or just over 5 hours, might not seem that big. But for lunar eclipse that includes penumbral, partial, and total phases, it is exceptionally fast, in 14 minutes. So across all 2,108 eclipse seasons and in the period 1600 to 2599. Ano 2599? Tagal na.
Tagal.
There are 693 to 695 total lunar eclipses. Only one of these has a shorter worldwide duration than the May 2021 eclipse. It is literally just a few seconds shorter than the 14 seconds of this coming lunar eclipse. So to be precise, it will be shorter by 4 seconds lang. Oh, so kung 14 seconds ay 14 minutes. Oh, so 4 seconds lang yung that's very negligible. And it will occur 345 years from now on May 25.
2366.
Ilan taon tayo naman? Lampas.
Mga 250.
If we consider our totality, in other words, if we ignore the partial and the penumbral phases, the May 2021 eclipse has a duration of 858 seconds or 14 minutes. By this criteria, it is the 10th shortest of all 695 total lunar eclipses in our sample period.
Of one Millennium. Oh. So eclipses need a new moon or a full moon. The basic requirement for the solar eclipse is a new moon, which occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. A lunar eclipse requires a full moon when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the Sun.
So in alignment siya.
Yes.
Ibig sabihin, kung nandito yung sun, nandito yung earth, nandito yung moon.
Of course, kailangan
Oo.
in one line sila para magkaroon ng eclipse.
Pero kung kunyari nandito yung earth, nandito yung moon, nandito yung sun, yun yung makikita mong may ring yung moon.
Ayun, yung penumbra-umbra, shadow.
Ano yun?
Penumbra and umbra. Umbra is the inner part yun yung shadow, tapos penumbra is the outer. Yeah. So the moon takes around 29.5 days to go through all its phases. And new moons and full moons are separated by about 2 weeks. So eclipses don't happen every month. So the moon orbits around Earth is tilted by about 5.1 degrees to Earth's orbit around the Sun.
Alam mo yun, minsan lang hindi ko gusto yung pagka scientific, ang dami niyang mga 5.1 yung
Kasi ganito yan eh.
Oh.
Yung Earth, hindi naman siya perpendicular na gano'n eh. Yung axis niya, yung North Pole, nakatilt siya. So the Earth revolves around that pag ganyan, nakatilt yung axis.
Oh.
Yeah, so umiikot pa rin siya around the Sun at the same time.
Umiikot siya, tilted siya.
Yes.
Better.
Ganun
Kasi
yan.
doon sa mga nakikinig natin, sinasabi mo yung mga 5.1 angle.
5.1, nakatilt ganyan, 5.1 degrees, ganyan. So the Earth revolves around that axis.
So, hindi ko yung parang nai-imagine.
Hindi siya gano'n.
Na nakagano'n.
Tapos
Umiikot yung Earth,
umiikot
tapos
siya,
umiikot pa sa sun.
Tilted siya.
Actually, tilted siya.
Ayan, tapos umiikot siya around the Sun again. Ayan.
Yun. Dapat gano'n na pagpapaliwanag, Chief. Para hindi, di ba, salita ka. Ang sakit ng palakpak. So anyway, yun na nga, yung 5.1 degrees, yun yung pinaliwanag ni Gina, yung axis ng Earth, hindi siya talagang yan?
Yung
90 degrees.
perpendicular.
Oo.
Vertical. Yeah.
Hindi siya ganun na perfect.
Naka-incline siya.
Naka-incline ng konti. Kaya yung pag-ikot ng mundo, pa-incline din ng konti. Pero ang pag-ikot niya sa sun, naka-incline din siya.
Ganun din ang moon. Ayan, no? So,
ang moon,
the moon's orbit around Earth is tilted by about 5.1 degrees to the Earth's orbit around the Sun. So, ganun din ang moon.
This is why eclipses don't happen everywhere.
Kasi yung moon, kunyari ito yung Earth, di ba? Yung moon, hindi perfectly ganun eh, horizontal. So, nakatilt siya pa ganyan.
Nakatilt yung Earth.
Naka-slant. So, eclipses don't happen every month. Okay, ayan nga. And eclipses come in seasons. About every 6 months, Earth comes to a sweet spot in its orbit where a perfect or almost perfect three-way alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun can occur. So each sweet spot lasts for about 34.5 days, an eclipse season. Okay.
If there is a new moon near the middle of an eclipse season, it will form a straight line with the Earth and the Sun. Parang in alignment siya. Parang yung nangyari alignment nung December.
Yun.
Yun. Alignment ng Jupiter, Earth, and Saturn. If there is a new moon near the middle of an eclipse season, the result will be a total solar eclipse.
Yun.
Ganun pala yun. Or an annular solar eclipse. So, yung annulus ho is a total solar eclipse. Kaya ako tinatawag natin totality or annularity. Yun mo yung explanation doon na sabi ko kay G, i-discuss naman natin yun mamaya, huwag mo kong bigla yung pag-explain. So, if the moon is too far from the Earth to cover the sun completely, in a similar way, a full moon near the middle of an eclipse season will produce a total lunar eclipse. Pakipaliwanag.
A full moon near the middle of an eclipse season will produce a total lunar eclipse. Yun. So you need an eclipse season, and the middle part of that season will have a full moon. Okay? And that will produce the total lunar eclipse. So makikita nyo, matatakpan yung moon ng Earth, little by little. Yeah.
So, ano nangyari pag tatakpan natin ang moon? Yun nga, nagkakaroon ng shadow.
Kasi kasi ang Earth, mas malaki sa moon yun. Tandaan mo yun. So it takes time for the Earth to cover the moon. So makikita mo yung transition na yun.
Pero meron din talagang time ba na totally pitch black, mawawala ang moon?
Oo, gano'n. Tapos, ang mangyayari, since it's nighttime, kasi makikita niyo sa gabi eh. So the light being radiated by the moon will be around the shadow of the Earth. Makikita mo yun. Kaya meron siyang gano'n yung umbra-pinumbra, yan. Shadow. Okay, so on the other hand, if a new moon or a full moon comes near the beginning or end of an eclipse season, the three-way alignment will be not quite perfect. So in this case, the result will be either a partial solar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse, or if the moon passes through only the faint outer part of the Earth's shadow, a penumbral lunar eclipse. So ang nangyayari, hindi siya eksakto, mako-cover eh. So partially lang yung touch mo lang, makikita mo pa rin yung moon, pero dadaan lang ng Earth.
Pero parang may natatandaan ako na umaga nangyari yung gano'n. Tapos biglang dumilim kasi biglang natakpan.
Solar yun.
Solar eclipse yun. Kasi alam ko yung parang there was an occurrence na parang biglang sumatulog ng mga manok.
Biglang nagtilaok.
Oo,
kasi light sensitive sila eh.
Yeah. Photosensitive.
Yeah.
So, eclipses guaranteed. Since a lunar month, the time taken for the moon to go from new moon to full moon, ano na natin yan, naging isang topic na natin yan at one time. Is only 29.5 days. Each eclipse season is guaranteed to produce somewhere in the world one solar eclipse and one lunar eclipse. So, ano lang pala, pandalas lang pala yan, Kaya lang hindi talaga sa isang buwan yan. It happens in within 35 days. More or less. If the first one occurs in the first few days of the season. So in most cases, the solar and lunar eclipses within each season, huwag kang magre-relax porket ako nagbabasa pa, i-explain ko to sa'yo. In most cases, solar and lunar eclipses within each season balance each other. If one is a full eclipse, the other tends to be partial. To put it in another way, if the alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun is perfect for one eclipse, the other eclipse will likely to be near the beginning or end of the season, when the alignment is less perfect.
So, critical ang alignment ng Sun, Earth, and the Moon. Okay, so when you have a perfect solar eclipse, hindi siya partial. Di ba? Ayun. Hindi siya partial. Maganda. So, para sa solar. But when it comes to the pairing niya, yung pairing niya ng lunar eclipse, partial siya. Ayun. Because mahirap i-align kasi yung tatlo eh. Di ba? Yun lang siya.
So, super flower blood moon daw ang tawag dito sa mangyayari. Where, when, and how to see the supermoon lunar eclipse. Pero sige, mamaya pag sa TV walang echo, wala talagang echo.
Bakit? May echo ba?
Nag-echo lang tayo.
Pag may feedback?
Pag kumakanta ko.
Oo, syempre, may effects eh.
May reverb. But otherwise,
yan. Sige, salita ka.
Eto, magkakaroon tayo ng echo. Pero pagka ho yung if we're just discussing, then it's flat.
Yeah. Flat
kasi
para walang reverberation.
Para hindi magulo. Wala tayong background music or whatever because this is a talk show. And of course, we always encourage people to make this an interactive one. Mag-comment lang mo kayo dito sa Facebook, pero nakalagay na write a comment.
Go to FB, the FB page of DZRJ, 8:10 a.m. Voice of the Philippines. Andyan.
Click on
Live.
it, tapos makikita nyo na mo yung mystical buffet.
Yeah. So we're live tonight. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So, when is it, where, when, and how to see the supermoon lunar eclipse if you want to see it. But later on, we will discuss why some people do not want to look at the solar or lunar eclipse.
Okay, so on the night of May 25 to 27, observers in Oceania, Hawaii, Eastern Asia, and Antarctica will see a lunar eclipse that coincides with the moon's closest approach to Earth, making it a supermoon. Oh, maganda, malaki. Eclipse. Oh, it's making it a supermoon eclipse that will turn the moon reddish.
Yeah, blood moon.
Oh, yeah, this will be known as the blood moon also. So the dates of this eclipse span 2 days because the area it will be visible to spans the international dateline.
So makikita sa sa almost all parts of the world.
Oo, ganun. Kasi sa Hawaii, yun ang boundary eh. That's almost midway between Philippines and the US, di ba? Ito ng Hawaii. So, dadaan ang dateline talaga. So, the dates of this eclipse span 2 days because the area it will be visible to spans the international dateline. So, lunar eclipses occur when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth as the sun.
Parang may kantang
Aquarius.
So
usually we see a full moon when this happens, but every so often the moon enters the Earth's shadow, resulting in an eclipse. So this does not happen every full moon because the plane of the moon's orbit is tilted about 5 degrees from the plane of the Earth's orbit, and the moon misses the shadow of the Earth. Hindi nagtama, di ba? Kaya walang eclipse.
Alam mo, dalawa yan eh. Di ba? Perigee and the other one is
Apogee.
Apogee. Perigee.
Apogee sound system yun.
Di ba, when we were, when we took up, ano yung sa farming natin, biodynamic farming, na nag-take ko kami ng course ni G. Kami ni G, wala kaming specific na gustong matutunan. Gusto namin matutunan lahat ng kaya namin.
Maganda yung seminar.
Maganda yung course na yun. It's a short course on biodynamic farming. That is when we learned about the apogee and the perigee. Pero nakalimutan ko na eh.
Oo, ako din.
Basta ang alam ko lang that when it's full moon, ang gravitational pull ay malakas. Doon mo tayo magandang magtanim ng seeds. Kasi mas madali siyang tutubo dahil doon sa gravitational pull.
Correct.
So, yun ang natandaan ko doon sa biodynamic farming. Plus the fact that if you use organic fertilizer na yung ilalagay mo sa loob ng horn ng cow, ilalagay mo dun yung cow dung.
Yes.
And then you bury it on earth and then let it ferment for a long time. Pag yun po yung ginamit ninyong fertilizer, it also serves as a pesticide.
Oh.
So ano na rin siya, yung parang ano na siya, yung fertilizer na pesticide pa, pero organic.
Organic siya. So effective siya, anti-pests, di ba? Yeah. Okay, so unlike a solar eclipse, which is only visible along a narrow track, lunar eclipses are visible from the entire night side of the Earth. This entire eclipse takes about 5 hours from start to finish. Tagalin. Grabe ah.
Ito lang
lunar
this
eclipse.
This particular May to June eclipse season.
So the timing depends a lot on what time zone you are in, relative to what is called Universal Coordinated Time, or UCT, effectively the hour in Greenwich, England.
So in Asia, the eclipse occurs near moonrise in the evening. So ang ganda, yung papakit pa ng moon. On the west coast of the Americas, the eclipse happens in the early morning hours. Tulog tayo kung nasa Amerika tayo, near the moonset. The best viewing will be in between those two extremes, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, the islands of the South Pacific, and Southwestern Alaska. Yun yung mga magagandang places to view the which kind of eclipse? Lunar eclipse.
So this lunar eclipse will appear slightly larger than normal because the moon will reach perigee. So the closest point in its orbit to Earth, yun ang perigee. When the moon is closest in its orbit to Earth.
Alam mo, every time when the moon, parang in my mind, okay.
So this lunar eclipse will, yun nga, okay? Closest to point, perigee.
Kasi kaya namin ito dinidiscuss.
Ganda to. Kasi,
kaya namin dinidiscuss, mamaya po, meron siyang connection sa i-discuss natin sa function.
Ayan, oo.
So, huwag kayong mabuboard, just stay tuned.
Tsaka it's yung scientific, ano ba yan? Happening or event. Yeah. So May 25 to 27, yun ang lunar eclipse. Okay. Saan na ba tayo? Okay, so when the full moon and perigee are close, it is called the supermoon. Okay, malaki. So though definitions are not consistent as it is an astronomical term.
It isn't an
astronomical term. Ordinarily, the moon is an average of 240,000 miles or 384,500 kilometers from the Earth. Ang layo niya.
Pero pag inisip ko kung gaano kalayo yun, sobra.
But its orbit is not perfectly circular. So the distance varies slightly. Ano yun? Hindi ba yun? Kunyari ito yung Earth. Yung moon, hindi siya pareho yung distance.
Hindi. Kasi
so
kaya
medyo
perigee at apogee.
Kasi
elliptical siya. Natutunan ko yan sa biodynamic farming. Yung pag-ikot ng moon sa Earth, hindi siya perfect circle.
Correct.
It's somewhat of an ellipse. Diba? Elliptical. That's why there will be points when the moon is closer to the Earth. And the apogee is when it's farthest from the Earth.
Yun.
Ganun ko,
Galing alam mo na yung apogee.
Naano ko lang yan, naalala ko lang.
Okay. And then, so the distance varies slightly. So when it reaches perigee this month, the moon will be 222,022 miles. Ba, umiksi ng
Umiksi.
Mga 18,000 miles na bawasan.
From 240,000 miles to 222,000 miles.
So the moon does appear slightly larger, kaya pala malaki. Mas malapit yung orbit niya sa Earth, kaya lumalaki yung moon. The moon does appear slightly larger.
Sayang, hindi natin pwedeng drawing dyan.
When it's closer. Diba? But the difference is small and it takes a very observant sky watcher to notice. Kasi minsan kaya iba-iba yung laki, di ba? Yun.
Pero marami kasing tao na talagang interested din.
Ay, mga astronomers.
Hindi lang astronomers. I think even lay people.
Yeah.
We've always looked upon the skies as some sort of yung wanting to see signs from it. Diba? At saka pag nagpapasalamat tayo, di ba ganyan tayo? Diba? We look upon the sky. So, I think it's human nature to really look up. Diba? Talagang tayo palatingin tayo sa taas. Kita mo, pagka bilog na bilog ang buwan, titingin ka. Pagka, pero pag masyado matindi ang titingin mo, bulag ka.
Kailan mo magpahing doon.
So, the sun's attraction or allure has captivated culture since the dawn of time. So, too has the mystical obscuring of its illumination. When Luna, tawag sa moon, veils its view from those of us on Earth. In times past, the phenomenon of eclipses must have been scary, nakakatakot. Pag nag-eclipse, since hindi naman siya...
Tataka, biglang didilim, di ba?
Since hindi naman siya explained pa, natatakot yung mga tao. When playing out in our skies, an ordinary folk believe it's foretelling of ominous occurrences and impending doom.
So hindi ka lang maganda. Sa kanila yun.
Para sa kanila yun. Kasi nga hindi nga explain sa kanila. scientific occurrence or event. Para dun sa mga ordinaryong tao, isipin nila, hala, bakit tumingin? Hala, bakit may shadow yung moon? Hala, bakit ano? So, para sa kanila, it becomes a scary sort of foreboding or foretelling of something that is bad that's going to happen. Yun.
So ito na, Chinese mythology and lore associated with eclipses stretches back thousands of years. So like many cultures, Asian countries looked to astronomy and astrology to predict the future. So the cosmic skies above were viewed as a scene from heaven and thus reflected how a nation should be arranged on earth. As above and so below. Emperors ruled in China's imperial courts only with the support of the heavenly cosmos. So they were recognized as conduits between heaven and earth. So in Chinese cosmology, eclipses were perceived as bad omens for China's imperial rulers. They were no longer supported by the mandate of heaven. Yun ang dating sa kanila. So a solar eclipse story unfolded when the young Yang, sun, symbolic of the emperor, was dominated and obscured by the yin moon, symbolic of the empress. And then the emperor's light, for example, is related as his reign was extinguished. So meron palang ano yun. So the king is being represented by the sun and the moon is represented by the
empress.
So labanan pala yun. Kaya yung eclipses.
Pero ang naglalaban ng mag-asawa. Emperor and the empress eh.
Yun, kaya nga. So yun. So the ancient observation of predicting the configuration of an eclipse in the skies was therefore highly prized and a reflection of an emperor's prowess and wisdom which could quell any unrest among the people. The imperial court was only privy to such celestial knowledge, and keeping an accurate calendar system was under the remit of the sovereign. An unpredictable eclipse would cast doubt on an emperor's rulership, leading to agricultural implications for the common people. If the calculations for planting and harvests were off, then suffering could lead to starvation. So, inaasahan nila.
Kasi hindi nga yung sa biodynamic farming as we learned it. Talagang may binibenta ka dating farmer's almanac.
Yun.
Kasi doon mo talaga ito-tiyempo yung pagtatanim mo. Kasi otherwise, less yung harvest mo kung hindi ka on with the season. I mean, di ba, kung kunyari hindi ka akma dun sa gravitational pull ng full moon, mas matagal tumubo yung seeds.
Ayun. So pag nagkamali sila, ayun, sasabihin nila bad luck. Sisisihin nila yung
nag-aano.
Yung taga-compute. Sasabihin niya, wala, malas lang tayo. Pero mali siya.
Actually.
May error siya in computing.
Pero I don't think, I don't know if a lot of people are subscribing to the philosophy of biodynamic farming.
Marami yan, marami.
Pero marami siguro. Meron isa sa Baguio na talagang ginagawa niya. Kasi although ang pinagmulan nito is not here, Rudolf Steiner is from Europe. Although yung pinagmulan niya, hindi taga rito. Pero pwede din naman natin gawin na imbis na horn ng cow, horn ng kalabaw.
Pwede.
Tsaka dung ng kalabaw. Diba?
Okay. So we now know that the astronomical tracking of the sun, moon, and earth cycles and their alignment results in the Saros cycles, which repeat approximately every 18 years and 11.3 days, thus forming a predictive tool for impending eclipses. Okay, so ganda, meron na silang formula. Okay, so China's luni-solar calendar or almanac system has always been highly significant. In fact, Chinese believed to be the keeper of an unbroken set of astronomical observations, longer than any other civilization.
Alam mo,
Mm.
pag-usapan natin yan, ha?
Mm.
Kasi, di ba, ngayon, ang daming mga sinasabi tungkol sa
Ano?
sa
Period 8, period 9.
hindi, at saka ang daming sinasabi tungkol sa mga Chinese, sa mga ano. Lahat po tayo, kahit na konting patak ng dugo, meron tayong Chinese blood eh.
Oo, di ba?
Oo. Tsaka sa kanila tayo talaga kumukuha ng maraming wisdom. Specifically the feng shui, or those who practice feng shui, and those who want to believe in feng shui, talagang kinukuha yung wisdom na yan from the Chinese. Di ba?
Mhm.
Oo, kaya huwag natin tayo masyadong ayaw sa China. Ako nga, kung papipiliin mo ako ng vaccine sige, wag ako magsasabi, pero kung ako papipiliin mo, pipiliin ko yung, basta ako, Asians for Asians ako.
Oh.
You get me?
Mhm.
Naintindihan mo ko?
Pwede. Basta Asian sa Asian. Swing nga eh. Di ba? Yan may Asian vaccine, may European vaccine.
Sabi ni Marge listening on AM, the sound is like coming from a cave.
Oh, bakit kaya?
Maybe the reverb setting is too high. Been listening
No, we
always.
don't have reverb.
Walang
Right
reverb,
now. No,
ba
zero. It's zero.
Sandali, baka sa station.
Oh, Nel, pakicheck nga.
Nel, pakicheck. May
May
nagsasabi
reverb daw,
dito na
reverb.
may the sound is like coming from a cave. It looks like parang yung nasa banyo ka.
Siguro. Parang
Morgan,
echoing.
is that what you mean? Parang we're inside the...
Baka ganun din si Pinky. Di ba?
Oh, yun
Kaya
yung sinasabi niya kanina, may reverb.
Oo, wala naman. Kasi
Patay
tayo.
ang reverb. Nakasiro kami. Ma'am, can you check please?
Oo.
Parang nasa hallway.
Hallway.
Bakit yan? Meron ko bang tinatch na ano dyan?
Wala. Kaya, naka-off naman ang reverb natin. Ito ang naka-on.
But try to check
Monitor.
sa monitor nyo. Baka ang monitor ko umiikot daw.
Umiikot.
Ano yung monitor ko?
Speaker. Walang speaker dito.
Walang speaker, but I have an in-ear.
Walang speaker eh. Walang
I have
speaker
an
dito.
IEM. I have an in-ear monitor. You think that affects it?
Hindi naman siguro. So, mixer.
So mixer, sige, tingnan mo. Thank you so much, Morgan to Casor. And Pinky.
Oo.
Papatay
It's off naman eh.
ang ano?
Naka-off naman lahat yung wala. Zero ang reverb ang effects.
Wala effects.
Oo.
Kanina nga kaya akala ko flat yung sinasabi niya.
Oh. Okay. Anyway.
How is it now? Kumusta naman dyan? Okay na daw, okay na.
Better.
Better?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Nel.
Thank you. Okay, so where are we? Yun na nga. Tungkol sa Chinese.
Yeah.
Wag ko kayong masyadong anti-China.
Oh.
Sa mga maging anti-China, tinutulungan na nga tayo eh.
Starbushol.
Ang dami-dami ng tulong, ang dami natin
Okay lang yan.
sinasabi tungkol dyan eh.
Tulungan yan.
Oo, magtulungan na lang. At saka huwag ba't naghahanap ng away?
Wala tayong aawayin.
Wala tayong aawayin. Wala tayong aawayin. At ako po naniniwala na ang liderato ng bansa natin ngayon ay on the right track. Yeah.
Okay. So systematic dated eclipse records began in China in 719 BC. But before the Chinese invented paper, they used oracle bones to preserve their rich folklore in a written form. So the Chinese character for an eclipse is Shi, S-H-I, which depicts a dragon devouring the sun or moon. She means it in Chinese.
She,
She,
S-H-I, means
eat.
eat.
Oh, in Chinese.
Kinakain, devouring.
Okay.
So the lineage of Chinese emperors are said to all be descendants of the Yellow Emperor. Yan mo yung para kinasami, para sa mga nagpupusoy na nasa chat group natin.
Pinky,
Yung si Pinky,
Si
yung
Lace.
Yellow Emperor is the Jade Emperor na sinasabi. Oo, Jade Emperor. The Yellow Jade Emperor, which has origins in the story of Feng Shui. So, nabanggit mo si Lace. Lace, maraming salamat sa padala mo. Ang dami-dami padalang pagkain.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And kahapon naman si Vicky, thank you so much for
For the food, for the gods.
food
Sarap
for
ha?
the gods. Ang
Sarap
sarap.
yan. Hindi mo titigilan hanggang hindi maubos.
Oo nga, no? Oo, yun ang problema doon. Yun ang hindi, yun ang hindi tama doon. Hindi ka makatigil.
Oo.
Oo, kahit alam mong tumatalon-talon na yung sugar sa katawan mo. Sige ka pa rin, kain ka pa rin ng kain sarap. Tapos, mamaya, yun mo yung kakainin natin yung pinadala ni Lace.
Ayan.
Kasi we have, every Saturday, we have late dinner.
Ala.
Yan.
Oo.
So,
Diyan pala si Vicky eh.
Si Vicky.
Oh, hi Vic.
Vicky.
Thank you,
Grabe. Alam mo, dalawa na lang natitira kasi
Oo.
mamaya pang ko yun eh. Pang dessert ko.
Pang dessert
dalawang
niya.
piraso.
Pag dessert pa, hindi man lang ako inalok.
Sino? Ano?
Sa
Ano
kanya
yun?
daw yun, dalawa. Di man lang binigay sa akin yung isa.
Sabi mo kanina sa akin na lahat yun kasi ang dami mo nang kinain.
Sige. Okay.
Oo.
Oo.
Kung gusto mo, happy yung kita.
Hindi na, okay na. Oo.
Okay. So,
Mm.
yun na nga, nandun tayo sa Jade Emperor. So, most emperors were shaman kings. And astute masters of landforms and weather lore, especially cloud formations. Meron din yun yung cloud divination.
Pwede,
So, in
pwede.
modern times, Feng Shui grandmasters note in the world of Feng Shui and astrology, the eclipses represent more energetic fluctuations. But it's more about the stock market and people's moods. So, dito makikita natin na hindi lang yun para sa mga sa gravitational pull o so para lang sa pag-observe natin, pagtingin natin o ano. Ang sinasabi yung eclipses are also for
Omens.
hindi yung pwede mong basahin as energetic fluctuations of the stock market. And also of people's moods. That's why there's such a word as, how do you say it? Lunatic. Basta,
Lunatic. Luna.
lunatic.
Mas marami pag lunar eclipse.
Oo. Pero lalo na yung pag nagpo-full moon, yung mga karamihan babaeng sobrang affected eh.
Siyempre, dahil nga sa
Dahil we're 70 or 90% water, I'm not sure.
70. Oo.
Oo.
Ganun.
Or 75.
70.
Ano ba talaga?
71.
Okay, Google niyo nga ako, tapos ilagay ninyo dyan.
Basta 70%.
Oo. Basta masyadong marami yung tubig natin sa katawan, but that's why
Oo, pareho sa Earth. Ganun din.
the gravitational pull of the moon is in the 7th house.
Machine said, while Jupiter aligns with Mars.
Anyway, hindi, kaya nga pati yung tide sa ocean natin, kaya affected in the water.
Yes.
And water in Feng Shui can equate to emotions.
Emotions or wealth also.
Oo. Yeah. So yan, affected yan sa stock market at saka sa... Kaya meron mo talagang connection yung full moon, yung moon, eclipse lahat dun sa mga pangyayari sa mga buhay-buhay natin. So it has a tendency to trigger water disasters which could be reinforced by the eclipse. So this is most probably the time when ships sink.
Yun.
And
naalala mo yun, yung malaking liner na na-stock up sa Suez Canal?
That was only last month.
Oo.
Ano yun?
Di ba? Inalis niyo yun, chinempo nila na high tide. Ayun.
So, kasi di ba sinasabi nga ni G, ini-explain niya sa akin kung bakit kailangan high tide. Kasi parang sumadsad siya.
Sumadsad siya, sa lupa. Hindi na maalis. Ang laki. Laki pala.
Di ba grabe ang tagal nun?
Tagal.
Tapos yung
Affected.
tapos ang daming containers. Affected talaga yung yung mga importers and
yung shipping, industry.
Tapos hindi lang yun.
Transportation by ship.
Bumara siya dun sa Suez Canal.
Yes.
So, nagkaroon ng traffic. Can you imagine, nagka-traffic sa pagkalaki-laking dagat.
Oo.
Pero kasi maliit ang Suez Canal
Pero malaki din yun. Malaki din siya.
Hindi, pero bumara siya
Bumara. Hindi, malaki yung bumara. Ayun.
Nakita natin, di ba, daming container vans.
Oo.
Pero siguro hindi affected ng Philippines kasi baka yung dumadaan sa Suez Canal, papunta kaya yung dito, hindi naman.
Meron din.
Ganun.
Oo, meron din yan.
Sabi ni Vix, gagawa siya ulit.
Yay!
Bakit ang mga palakpak, akala mo bibigyan ka ulit niya?
Hindi, nakikihingi lang naman ako. Kahit mga 10 piraso.
Kapal mo! Ang kapal niya. Anyway, nandyan si Yeng.
Yeng! Kamusta ka dyan, Yeng?
Thank you so much sa pag-harvest
ng mangga.
Yun.
Daming nasasayahan.
Oo, dami nating napadalhan, no? Kasi hindi naman namin kakayanin talaga yun And yung mango tree namin ngayon, 3 years na hindi namin nakukunan ng bunga. Kaya medyo natampo siya, maliliit this year. Pero usually, talagang malalaki siya. Parang 2 piraso sa 1 kilo.
Oo, malaki siya. Pero hindi siya maasim, Kita ko kanina sinasabi mo, hindi maasim.
Hindi ganun, Kaya hindi siya talaga yung pag gusto mo ng maasim, hindi masyado.
Hindi yun ang asa mo ng maasim. Kailangan, Indian.
Hindi. Yung kalabaw.
Kalabaw ba?
Oo, yun ang talagang maasim. Okay. So, asa na tayo? So, Chinese dragons.
Ito, Rahu, hindi ba Rahu?
Rahu.
Rahu in Vedic astrology is known as the ascending lunar node or dragon's head, north node. And the Chinese borrowed the term and refer to it as Lohu.
Sandali muna bago niya.
Yeah.
Tuloy. Yung Rahu actually is one of the sacred symbols in Reiki. It's used for healing also. Do you remember?
Yes,
Rahu,
yes.
Meron siyang symbol yung Rahu mismo, paano siya gagamitin sa alternative healing. Okay, so to go on.
In Chinese discipline of feng shui, practitioners were ill-advised to open their cosmic tool of heaven and earth on certain days, mainly their Chinese compass, known as a lopan. So these days were called Lohu days, or as they were classically called, master killing days. So the pair of lunar nodes are not planets, but a point on the ecliptic plane, and Vedic astrology treats them as virtual planets, and in Chinese metaphysics, as a planet akin to a star. Ketu, on the other hand, the Vedic term for descending node or south node.
Ketu yan,
Ketu.
Keto ng
Hindi si Keto
baka.
diet. Hindi yun.
Hindi.
Keto yun. Keto naman
Keto pa yan. Sorry.
Keto.
So the Vedic term for descending node or south node is also familiar to Chinese metaphysics and goes by the name of Jidu.
Jidu. Yun. Okay. Saan na ba?
Sa Grand Duke, the Jupiter.
Lopan, Lohu days. So in 2020, the Grand Duke is in North 1, and therefore Northwest 3 high was the Lohu position.
Is for pig.
For pig.
Pig year.
Position for the previous year's Grand Duke position. In 2021, the Grand Duke is in the Northeast 2, Chow, or the Ox position. So the Lohu is in the previous year of the rat. North. Yan, okay. Rituals during an eclipse will follow after this singing of Marge.
Last week ko, merong request.
Dali.
Tingnan nyo, may nagre-request na sa akin. Kahit hindi ako marunong kumanta.
Oh.
Diba? Oh. Yan. Meron akong
As requested.
as requested. But wala dito si si Philip
Oo.
na nag-request. Kaso, Philip, di-request na. Hindi ka naman pala magtutune in. O baka nasa TV siya.
Pwede. Okay. Let's try
Pasensya na
this.
po kasi
Ano yung kakatayin mo niyan? Ano yung kakatayin mo niyan? Requested by Philip.
oo, requested kasi yung boses ko parang parang yung kay...
Astrud.
Hindi, parang kay Bill Santos.
Ito. Let's try
Basta,
this.
alam mo, okay naman yung kumakanta ka kahit na hindi ka masyadong magaling, pero nasa tono ka naman.
Ayun, nice lang yan. Oo. Ito. Subukan natin ito. As requested by Philip. Okay.
Look out the window at that rainstorm. I let the wind blow up a brainstorm. And now I'm wondering whether weather like this gets to... It may go on like this for hours. Too late in fall for April showers. So I walk out here, got a thought or two I need to share with you. Here goes. Darling, tell me now, have I done wrong somehow that you won't look at me? Did it point it out? Can't keep my wits about when you won't look at me. Wala daw tulog yung gitara.
Bakit wala? Wala. Sayang. Oo naman eh.
Hindi. Meron, sabihin mo ako meron. Ito yung kagandahan ng mystical buffet para lang tayo naglalaro.
Meron naman sa picture lumalabas eh.
Wala daw.
Oo?
Oo.
Wala. How?
Oh. Okay, let us know na kung meron na.
Meron ba?
Sayang naman, ganda pa naman yung kita.
Oo. Wala ito. Kunin ko na rin isang guitar.
Ito kasi nagpalis ka pa.
Hindi, okay naman eh. Sa signal lang, signal chain.
Okay. So habang nag-ano siya, i-discuss natin yung ano.
Sige.
Okay. So maraming rituals during an eclipse. The two main luminaries in the sky, Sol and Luna, are laced to the two superstitions at the National Verb. So,
Acoustic na lang tayo.
Dati naman kasi nag-inarte ka eh.
Hindi, maganda rin eh. Okay, let's try it again. Sorry.
Look out the window where that train's going. I let the wind blow up brainstorm. And now I'm wondering whether I was dancing too. It may go like this for hours, waiting for a good shower. So I walk out here, got a thought or two I need to share with you. Here goes. Darling, tell me now, have I done wrong somehow that you won't look at me? Did it point it out? Can't keep my wits about that you won't look at me. Is there something I ought to know? You're finding hard to say. Well, there's just a trace hiding on your face, and I've learned it that way. Just another soul that really knows my soul, and you won't look at me. Does that take the price of how much I love those eyes? Yet they won't look at me. Another rain has gone, there's something lingers on. There is certain sadness here, now that the sky is clear. And it's so clear. Yes, it's so true to me now. And I can't help but feel that certain sadness here to stay.
Thank you.
Thanks for bearing with us. And so now we move on. Pero meron si share dito si Morgan Valcasor.
What is that? It's a bid or something?
No, it's the Daisy Moon Prophecy.
Oh, okay.
So it says on the 26th of May 2021.
Lapit na yan.
The sun will be in the sign of Gemini, but in terms of constellations, it will be conjunct and between the, how do you pronounce that? Pleiades?
Leads yata yan eh.
And Aldebaran in the constellation of the bull Taurus. the author sees this reflected in the death quote, number 2 message, where the yellow 2 doubles for the, the piece is very, kind
of deep.
Deep, deep astronomy nito. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I will go through this and try to understand it. Kasi we're more inclined dun sa sa Eastern astrology than the Western. But Marganto will really appreciate you sharing with us.
Thank you.
Kasi gusto ko din talaga matutunan yan eh. Gusto ko matutunan yung Western, kaya lang parang pag iniisip ko pa lang, nahihirapan na ako. Ang alam ko lang sa Western astrology, yung horoscope.
Yan, yun maganda.
Okay.
Okay.
Sige.
And then we now go to the rituals during an eclipse. So the two main luminaries in the sky, the Sol and the Luna, are laced with superstitions at the best of times. At an eclipse, and ancient ill-omen prophecies are often alluded to. So June 6th, 2020, that was last year, the penumbral lunar eclipse occurred. So some folk think conducting rituals on the night of Luna, obscuring her full face from the view, will negate the effects. Sadly, not. And we don't endorse the practice of conducting rituals on solar or lunar eclipses. So a gentle word of caution, if you're thinking of conducting a ritualism under the influence of any eclipse energies, or even considering fashioning a magical talisman, then exercise caution. It's best to refrain from making under these malefic influences. Unlike paper and apart from metal, stones and crystals were the choice of material for talismanic magic, as it impregnated and symbolized the magic intention for as long as it held that form. It holds that form. So it's best to seek counsel from a highly skilled electional astrologer when talismanic objects are in play, and virtually all practitioners will concur with abstinence under any eclipse. So last
Pero
July,
makikisingit lang ng sandali po. Meron po tayo ditong nag-comment siya na she will guarantee successful trade, that Mr. So and so is an expert options trader with a remarkable personality. Do you need help in making out funds to begin something in life? Ito ang warning ko sa inyo. This is a very this is a very personal experience. Hindi ako, pero somebody close to us lost almost everything. Kaya wag po kayong maniniwala dun sa mga anything that's easy money, anything that promises you big gains and big profits. Wag po kayong maniniwala sa ganun, kasi I think that the best way to really earn a lot of money is through hard work. Eventually, mahirap po kasi yun na nga, biglang dati nawala na itong mga itong mga nagpo-post ng mga kung ano-ano sa trading. So yun, 7 days, yung ibang kilala ko naubos halos lahat. So
ingat kayo sa mga digital currency.
Sa mga digital currency, sa trading, that all you can see is paper. And you don't know
and you use your real money.
And then you use your real money, you deposit your money, and then totoo yung pera mo, pero yung gains mo, at first meron kang gains, tapos nawala na.
Wala, yung magic yun. Magic.
Yeah. So, ayan, sige. So, thank you so much for bearing with me with that warning because maraming po ngayon na because syempre gusto natin makabangon at ang pasimula dito don't be convinced that all hope is lost during hard times. Siya daw had an ugly beginning and then when she started trading, gumanda yung buhay niya. Di pasalamat ako. Tingnan ko lang kung makuha mo pa lahat ng pera mo siya.
Wala na yan.
Okay.
Okay.
So, ano masasabi niyo sa mga ganyang mga trading na yan? Di ba nakakatakot?
Kausap nyo, hindi mo kilala.
Hindi mo nakikita.
Hindi mo nakikita. Pero,
tapos nakikita mo sa isang website na gumagana ka na.
papel, on paper. Ingat kayo dyan. Pati nga vaccine, binibenta eh.
Kanina?
Alam niyo ba yun?
What kind of scam is that?
Vaccine, binibenta.
Binibenta
Two doses. Two doses daw.
2 doses daw is 8,000 pesos. Are you guys crazy? Yung mga maniniwala dyan. Kasi ang nangyayari dahil yung mga, di ba may A1, A2, A3, A4. Ano ba A5?
Merong A5.
A5. Siyempre kung nandun kayo sa, sa ilalim, gusto niyo na rin mag-vaccinate.
Hindi pa. Maghintay lang kayo.
Pero hintay lang po. Ingat lang muna hanggat makarating sa inyo yung listahan. Kasi sinasabi nga ng LGU na parang ginamit na pang-scam. Sinasabi nyo, wala akong ganyan. Wala akong ditong binibenta. This is for free. But if you want to buy, go to Red Cross.
Okay.
Kasi doon, meron talagang binibenta pero very minimal yung account. Yung amount. Hindi siya malaki. It's amounting to mga 500, 600 pesos lang. Na vaccination. So yun mo, kung hindi na talaga kayo makapaghintay, doon pwede doon. Pero yun nga, yung tungkol sa vaccines, there are 3 kinds or types as of now. First is the mRNA or the messenger or RNA type. Yun mo yung Pfizer and Moderna. Pero yun mo...
Yung
AstraZeneca is DNA.
Okay.
DNA yung kinukuha. Tapos yun mong Sinovac, Sinopharm, and the Asian manufactured vaccines are from the age-old way of getting inactivated virus. So parang yan mo yung kilala nating vaccine. So as for efficacy rates, nag-iiba-iba ho siya.
Pero tumataas na, no? Tumataas na yung efficacy
ng
mga vaccine.
Asian. So, yun ho yung parang makatulong tayo sa sangkatauhan at saka sa Pilipinas. Pag magpabakuna na po tayo, pero wag po tayo magpapaskal. Kasi hindi ho binibenta yung bakuna.
Libre pa, hanggang ngayon, libre pa.
Libre pa.
Kaya lang, you have to go through the category. A1 for frontliners, A2 for senior citizens, A3 for...
Pero maraming LGUs na ang bibilis. Pag-register mo ngayon, mamayang hapon, meron ka na.
Bibilis.
Tapos, pag naturukan ka, meron pang pa-lollipop. Sa Quezon City naman, may pa-cupcake.
Yun.
Oo. Dito yata sa Parañaque, may patubig. Di ba?
Mahirapan yung mga tao dito. Gulo pa ng sa Parañaque.
Magulo yung sa Parañaque. Hindi ko kami nahihiyang sabihin na medyo nananawagan kami sa LGU ng Parañaque. Ang gulo-gulo po. Tsaka ang tagal sumagot.
Yung online registration, matagal. Hindi sumasagot.
Ang sinasabing maganda is, I think Valenzuela is okay. Taguig,
yan. Makati.
Ganda. Makati. Ang gagaling ng LGU dyan.
Quezon City.
QC,
Mandaluyong.
Mandaluyong din.
Pasig.
Andiyan na si Jason.
Rice Bay Fried Rice, Jay.
Oo. Yung si Jason, ano yan eh, yan yung tatay ni Inigo tsaka ni Kinito.
Ayun, oo.
Oo. Ayun. Pagod yan, galing sa biyahe.
Mhm.
Okay. So anyway, you know yung sinasabi ni G, you have to be cautious when you're thinking of conducting ritualism under the influence of any eclipse energies or even considering
Mhm.
fashioning a magical talisman, then exercise caution. So it's best to refrain from making under this, yung parang kasi kinoconsider nila na yung eclipse is not a very ominous, it's not a very auspicious event. Hindi siya auspicious event. So unlike paper,
Mhm.
and apart from metal, stones, crystals were the choice of material for making talismans
Mhm.
or amulets o kaya sa Tagalog po ay agimat. Speaking about agimat,
Oo.
yun. So, asan tayo?
Dito. So last July 2019, the total solar eclipse fell in Cancer. Okay, like on new moons, the sun and the moon are conjunct, but Luna will be in her own territory in the sign of Cancer. So the sign of Cancer is symbolized by a crab, often used as a lucky charm. Meron ka ba nun? Yan o. Oh. So the Chinese word for crab and the Chinese word for harmony are both pronounced
As
C, XIE,
Oh.
which are used to express a desire for peace.
Okay, so I desire peace,
No.
but I also desire, kasi pag meron mo kayong crap,
Hindi na, moving pa yan ah.
oo. Pero yung ganito natin sa Marvin na crab is is brass. Hindi siya gumagalaw. Pero itong moving siya, tapos meron siyang coin. Meron din siyang Chinese ingot.
Mhm.
And then, I've had this for years, and it's supposed to put you in a very good position.
Mhm.
Supposedly, if you have a crab, you're almost always number one in exams, in whatever.
Oo.
Oo, pati sa promotions.
Ayun.
Ganyan. Sa hiring.
Yan.
Oo.
Yan.
So, the crab,
The crab is also used as a charm to symbolize success in the imperial examination system of old till 1911, which could have resulted in promotion to an official government position. So the reasoning behind this charm is the Chinese word for crab, shell, has the additional meaning of first, as in achieving the highest score in the exams. Oh, so maganda pala yung crab na ganyan. Ano? Yan. May ingot pa and may coin.
yan. So,
Okay. So lunar eclipse superstitions you may recognize.
Sandali muna. If
Ano
you
pa?
want authority, if you
Mayroon
want
pa.
authority
Meron pa
naman,
makita si Marge.
may papakita ko. Ito, this is very important. Ito, it comes in a box.
Yun, ano naman yan?
Kaya lang, it comes in a box. Kaya lang, medyo naubos na yung stock ko nito.
Mhm.
Pero, syempre ayoko na siyang pakawalan. Tali. Ay,
May
this
tali
is,
pa pala.
oo.
Yan.
So, ito
Oh,
siya.
maganda. Oh.
Ito yung Ruyi. Ito
Oh,
yung
yan.
maano nyo naman kikita nyo naman na matanda. Yung Ruyi is a scepter of the emperor.
The scepter.
Scepter of the emperor. So makikita nyo yan, meron din yan sa mga kinakabit sa bracelet. Pero pag meron daw kayo dito sa office, ilalagay nyo sa office, it means sumusunod yung mga tao ninyo sa inyo.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So Ruyi is a must-have if you have a supervisory position.
Mhm.
Kailangan ng Ruyi. Okay. I don't know, it's pronounced in Chinese Ruyi.
Ruyi.
Okay.
Oh.
So, asan ka na?
So we continue. Lunar eclipse superstitions you may recognize. A lot of superstitions are still around from age-old times relating to eclipses. There are many superstitions regarding lunar eclipses in many cultures around the world. The origins of superstitions regarding lunar eclipses are basically from India and China. So some people in India still do not come out of the house during eclipses. They try to protect themselves from the bad rays emitted by the sun during a solar eclipse. They bang huge drums in order to scare away the evil energy of the
Yung ano
moon.
daw, yung iba daw yung ang ginagamit nila, yung mga kaldero nila.
Ayun, during a lunar eclipse. Okay. So some Indians also do not cook food or eat during a lunar eclipse. After the eclipse is over, they cleanse themselves by taking a bath in the holy rivers. It's also said that they put basil leaves and darba grass over food items, and in many places of the house, as this type of grass is said to repel harmful radiations. So back in ancient times, the Babylonians took the lunar eclipses as a sign of doom or damage. Or wala. Charge. Yeah. Okay. So, so many predictions were done by soothsayers as astrologers regarding lunar eclipses. So, any necessary steps could be taken to avoid mishaps.
Para maka-avoid mo kayo ng mga accident. Kasi sinasabi na pag-eclipse, ingat lang tayo. So according to the holy book, the Bible, lunar eclipse is a sign of the coming of the apocalypse, and this can happen only when the moon turns red, which is ngayon, May 26 blood moon.
May 26, full moon tayo.
Some cultures believe that an eclipse is a symbol of a calamity's end. Sa iba naman, iniisip nila na pagka may ganyang eclipse, end naman ang calamity. Kunyari, itong pandemic na to, this is a calamitous event. Pwede it could end. But hindi, I don't see end in sight yet. Not for as long as maraming pasaway, ayaw magpa-vaccinate. So, superstitious Greeks take the lunar eclipse as a force of the Greek gods.
Yeah, the Japanese still shoot guns during a lunar eclipse in order to end the phenomenon as quickly as possible. Though it is done just to perform a ritual prevalent since their ancestors' times. But a lunar eclipse affects people in different ways.
Yes.
There are still other superstitions that say a lunar eclipse has an effect on human behavior and nature. Some people are said to go insane during a lunar eclipse, while in others it has a less but still a powerful effect on some people's minds, bringing out the violent nature of the person at that particular time. Some people are insecure regarding their house, property, and life during lunar eclipses.
Kakaroon na anxieties. So, sabi ni Mother Teresa of Calcutta, the late Mother Teresa, see how nature, trees, flowers, grass grows in silence. See the stars, the moon, and the sun, how they move in silence too. So we need silence to be able to touch souls. And Nigerian proverb.
Nigerian proverb, the stars shine brightest when the moon is gone.
Of course. Di ba? Pagka full moon, halos hindi mo makita yung mga stars kasi na-overwhelm ng liwanag ng buwan. So, ang Ugandan proverb says, when the moon is not full, the stars shine more brightly. Pareho din ang sinabi ng Nigerian.
African proverb, he who waits for the moon waits for darkness. Of course. Diba?
And then?
The Tibetan proverb, the moon grows darker as it gets nearer to the sun. Siguro. Siyempre, masisilaw eh.
So pregnant women do not come out of the house during lunar eclipses, as it is a superstition that an unborn child may be born deformed or unhealthy. Kneading, weaving, cutting, sewing, and mending work should be avoided by pregnant women when there is a lunar eclipse. So a baby born
during a lunar eclipse will have distorted limbs, cleft lips, or scars on their body as the superstition goes. Women who have conceived during a lunar eclipse should not brush their hair during that time, as it is said that the umbilical cord might strangle the neck of the unborn baby.
Kanina pinag-uusapan mo namin ni Chi. Kasi I came out as a blue baby, not because there was something wrong with my heart or anything.
Mhm.
I was a blue baby because when I came out, nakapalupot po yung umbilical cord ko sa neck ko. Kaya hindi ako na-asphyxiate ako. Hindi ako makahinga. So sinasabi ko na nag-brush ba ng buhok ang nanay ko?
Pwede, kaya nag-backtrack tayo eh.
Ng eclipse, kaya nag-backtrack kami.
Mhm.
Well, medyo malapit-lapit, so hindi ko alam kung totoo. Pero paano naman kung hindi ka mag-brush ng buhok, mukha ka naman bruha.
Mhm.
Diba? Pregnant ka na nga, tapos hindi ka pa pwedeng mag-brush.
Oo.
Pero sinasabi na pag during conception, nag-brush ng hair yung nanay, ang paglabas ng baby, nakatali yung umbilical cord niya.
Mhm.
So in ancient times, G,
In ancient times, as we mentioned earlier, the Chinese believed that the moon had been eaten up by a dragon. So it was a sign of ill omen by them, as it depicted the anger and wrath of the sun upon the moon. They also took it as a heavenly sign from the supernatural power, which predicted the future of their kings. In spite of the amazing and spectacular beauty of this natural phenomenon, some superstitions are still prevalent
today
today.
that made it a bit scary
Uh,
and fearful when there is a lunar eclipse, which is going to happen May 26, 2021.
yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to say hello to my BFF. Nandito si Roldan.
Hoy, Roldan! Yes! Kumusta?
Napakagaling magluto niyan. Pero ano yan kulahasan yan. Ano yan? Pulis yan dito sa atin. Oo. Saka maraming masyadong yan. Maraming connection.
Siyempre.
Oo. Yan. Basta BFF ko yan. Yan ang nakakausap ko na natatakbuhan ko pag may mga may gusto kong tanong.
Okay.
So anyway, we come to the feng shui segment of our program.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what is Batsi or Four Pillars of Destiny, G?
Yeah, Batsi.
Oo. Kasi maraming hanggang ngayon hindi talaga po naintindihan kung ano yung Batsi or Four Pillars of Destiny.
Okay. So, the Four Pillars of Destiny, as known as Batsu or Batsi, which means 8 characters or 8 words in Chinese. It's a Chinese astrological concept that a person's destiny or fate can be divined by 2 sexagenary cycle characters assigned to their birth year, month, day, and hour. So this type of astrology is also used in Japan and Korea. So days, hours, months, and years are all assigned one of the 10 heavenly stems and one of the 12 earthly branches.
Okay, let me just cut you there.
Cycle.
The 12 earthly branches are the 12 zodiac animals of feng shui.
Okay.
Diba? Starting from the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig.
Galing!
Grabe, I didn't know. Grabe, memorize ko
Memorize mo
yun.
na siya.
Sige.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, we go now. So a person's fortune is
Hindi.
determined, no?
Yes, sandali. Di sinabi ko na yung earthly branches. Ano naman yung heavenly stems? Kaya siya nagiging 10 kasi 5 elements po.
Oo.
Oo. Tapos sa 5 elements, meron ng yin and yang.
Yun.
Ibig sabihin, meron ng male or the dynamic
Form.
form. And then meron din namang ano ba yun? 5 elements. So, nagiging 10 ho. Ibig sabihin,
Yung yin energy.
meron, kung ano yung 5 elements, G?
5 elements. So fire, earth, metal, water, and wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yung mga elements na yun, pag nilagay mo na yin fire, yang fire,
Yun.
yin metal, young metal, yin water, yang water, yin earth, and yang earth,
Wood.
and then yin wood and yang wood. Medyo sa simplistic way of looking at it, you can tell if yung medyo characteristics ng tao. Kasi katulad ng yin fire and yang fire. Yun yung dalawa kong apo, yung isa yin fire, yung isa yang fire. Ito si yang fire, dahil likened to a sun, si Inigo, maaga siyang inaantok, just like the sun that sets at night.
Oo, so may ano yan mga young fire dyan. Hanggang alas 5 lang kayo ng hapon.
Hindi.
5 a.m. to 5.
Alas
Yun ang ano nila eh.
Yun yung optimum na
Optimum, 5 to 5. Young fire.
Yang fire. Parang pag rise ng sun at saka pag set ng sun.
Yan.
Oh, it doesn't mean that after 5 kayo parang panis na. Hindi naman.
Hindi lang optimum for
hindi
you.
lang optimum for you. Tapos yung sa yin fire naman, likened to a candle, which lights darkness. Oo, kaya yung yin fire na apo ko, ano siya, panggabi.
Oo, panggabi. 5 to 5 naman yan. 5 ng hapon.
Late matulog.
Yung 5 na umaga.
So, madali mo nating malalaman yung tao. Kung kunyari nag-batsi reading tayo, nag-batsi chart tayo. Yung mga characteristics nila, medyo medyo madaling hulaan. Kunyari katulad mo ng young metal people, they're usually big people.
Yan metal.
Pero syempre may exception to the rule always, no? Pero pagka sinabing young metal person yan, medyo stocky yung build. Medyo siya, malaki. Para siya, si Jay, ako. Oo. Ang laking tao yan. Okay? So, yun yung sinasabi natin na 10 heavenly stems and 12 earthly branches. Makikita natin yan doon sa pillars. And the
Pagpidlat na yan.
Tapos yung Sagittarian cycle is the 60 years cycle. Okay.
Yeah.
So
a person's fortune is determined by looking up the branch and stem characters for each of these 4 parts of their birth time with relation to the 10-year luck cycle. So what is Batsi and why does it work? So let's get the obvious out of the way first. So popularly known as the 4 pillars of destiny, Batsi means 8 characters found in the 4 pillars, where each pillar has a heavenly stem and an earthly branch.
Na-explain natin yung heavenly stem, earthly branch. Okay.
So it's introduced to most people as a fortune-telling tool, which is not wrong. So Batsi can tell your fortune because of its ability to forecast one's life. And it's extremely easy for a seasoned practitioner to tell someone's caliber and chances for success. Okay?
So you can also call yourself fortune teller because pag marunong ka magbasa ng Batsi, more or less, makikita mo kung, medyo clash to ngayon. Hindi dapat magbukas ng negosyo to ngayon. O kaya, so if you consult the Batsi, or the Batsu, or the 4 pillars of destiny, it is where you can see when you can perform at the optimum. Sinasabi nila pag kunyari year of the snake, medyo troubled ang snake noon kasi it crowds the presiding god of the year. Yung tinatawag na Taisui or Grand Duke Jupiter. But if it's a snake day or snake month or snake hour, optimum naman kayo dyan. Oo. So, wag mo isipin na pag snake day, month, or hour, hindi maganda para sa snakes. Mali mo yun. Hindi lang maganda yung year for the snake. But you can do a lot of things to prevent getting hit by a lot of misfortunes and mishaps. Maraming pwedeng gawin, di ba, G?
Marami.
Maraming cures, kumbaga.
Okay, to continue, Batsi and any other method of fortune telling is only possible if one is able to measure time, because reckoning time is required before we can observe patterns and cycles. So whenever you look at a Batsi chart, you're actually looking at an ancient calendar. So the knowledge behind how this ancient calendar was developed is what gave the Chinese sages the ability to forecast one's life. So Batsi's system is based on the solar calendar with its 24 solar terms and the sexagenary cycle, a timekeeping system that is unique to the Chinese. So it consists of 10 heavenly stems and 12 earthly branches, both of which are individual systems of timekeeping, but were eventually brought together to develop a refined version, which is more holistic and reliable form.
Okay, so maraming tayo, may siguro pagbibilangin, may mga 70 members tayo dun sa, ano natin, sa Feng Shui Family na chat group. Marami-raming friend mo, pero hindi mo lahat active. Pero those who are active are somehow, medyo ano na sila, medyo adept na sila at reading the Batsi. And some naman, we're always here. Actually, 24/7 kami dyan sa ano eh. sa mga tanong niyo. So, measuring time is taken for granted because na iba-iba ho yung world clock. Oo. Pero, one must remember that there was a point in time when human civilization had no concept of time.
Yes, correct. Or how long a year, a month, week, or even day felt like. So the concept of measuring time was only possible because of the cycle observable in the sky and the cosmos. A year was measured by the circling of the Big Dipper. A month was measured by a moon cycle. A day was measured by the Earth's rotation. And studying Batsi is no different from studying nature's laws and how it unfolds, and the way it unfolds follows a pattern that repeats itself. So it is this belief that allowed the Chinese sages to develop methods of forecasting one's life. And you will find that this is true for other forms of astrology from other civilizations. The work of Hindu sages allowed for Vedic astrology to develop, and Ptolemy's work on astronomy gave birth to the Western astrology that we know today.
Medyo mas ano yan mas complicated. Although complicated din yung pagbabasa talaga ng Batsi. We will remind the Feng Shui family that there's going to be a Zoom pop-up event.
Next week, Sunday na pala yun.
Next week, Sunday.
Wala, nagawa mo na ba yung ano?
Ano? Ikaw. Oo. Hindi, kunwari lang yan siya, tinatakot yung sarili niya. So, understanding
magandang topics. Ano ba yung mga topics natin? Yun nga, yung
may mga animals na...
Since it's the year of the ox.
Hindi. May mga animals na hindi lang yung goat, hindi lang yung directly across the ox that is clashed. Yeah. There are other types.
That is affected by the energy of the ox.
There are other types. Plus, meron din mo tayo sa Sunday na pag-uusapan na yung mga clashes ng, kunyari, parang akala mo wala silang relationship. Kunyari, rabbit against a dragon. Yung mga magkatabi yata yun eh. Parang mga apat yun. Apat na gano'n.
Yung rat, horse.
At saka meron pa yung
dragon, dog.
So yun mga madidiscuss natin sa ano. But for those who did not attend the annual, I enjoin you to attend because
may review.
May review tayo ng something that has happened last December, which has greatly affected the energies around us. Okay? So understanding that cosmic trinity and its role in Batsi. The cosmic trinity is known as
the Sun Kai, or Sun Chai in Chinese, which refers to heaven, earth, and human. So the Chinese sages believe that whatever is observable in heaven will have a physical manifestation on earth. In other words, human life will parallel nature's laws. So this is the reason why you'll often hear someone's chart being described according to what we can see in nature. For example, charts born during summer will need water to adjust for its environment. Metal requiring fire to forge it, or how yin wood needs the right amount of water, soil, and sun to truly grow. So studying someone's Batsi chart is akin to seeing his or her life unfold according to these laws that parallel nature. Someone with an forged under young metal chart will likely never be successful. And someone under yin wood with much fire will never be able to grow.
And why is that? Because wood is gutted by fire. Sinusunog siya. Tapos yung young metal naman, kung
It's raw. It's in raw form.
If it's in raw form, it's not, fire is not applied to it. Walang nangyayari sa metal.
Yes.
Metal is metal, and then it's not,
You cannot refine.
diba? Paano tayo nagkakaroon ng jewelry? Kasi nga hinihit up yung gold, diba?
Yes.
It's formed.
Oh.
So it's very parallel to what truly happens in nature. So ganun din ho yung yung principle ng Batsi. It depends on the interaction of the 5 elements and the interaction of the 12 animal signs. So doon makikita natin, hindi ho parang 1,000 times ko na sinasabi na pag pig and snake hindi talaga magkakasundo. Kasi pig and snake kami, meron naman kami differences. Kasi lahat ng tao, meron ganun talaga. Magkakaroon talaga ng differences. Although, yung nature of the clash of the pairs of animals, animal pair yan will vary.
Yes.
Mag-iiba-iba siya. So this is where it's very important. Kaya nga sinasabi niya, you're also more like a fortune teller. Because pag nagbabatsi ka, naiintindihan mo yung interaction.
Oh, incoming events and past events also.
Okay, as an example, because it's a snake month, and my son Jay is a tiger. So, galing sila sa Bulacan. Ang sabi ko sa kanila, huwag kayong magbiyahe ng 3 to 5 because 3 to 5 p.m. is the monkey hour. Because if you blend the tiger, snake, and monkey, it creates a fire penalty. Meron ng dalawa lang penalties ang Batsu. Meron siyang dalawa lang, earth and fire penalty. So pag nag-join ang tiger, snake, and monkey, it creates a fire penalty. What could happen? Well, your car might burn, or you get burnt out, sobrang napagod, or nag-hypertension ka. Basta anything related to fire. Pag earth penalty naman is dog, ox, and goat. Okay? So that is also naman related to land incidents.
Yeah, disasters, earthquakes, landslides.
Car accidents.
Road accidents. Relationships.
Relationships. Dog, ox, and goat. So that's the earth penalty. And why relationships? Because we all stand on earth.
Yeah.
Lahat tayo nakatayo sa earth. So,
anything earth-related or on the earth.
On earth. Yeah.
On earth.
Okay. So this is the reason why you'll often hear someone's chart being described according to what we can see in nature. Yung sinasabi natin.
Teka.
Dali lang po. Hang on.
Something wrong with the
Serbisyo publiko ba ang hanap mo? Programang tutulong at aalalay sa iyo. Tuwing linggo, Carmen Ignacio, Mark Anthony Ignacio, Miss Teresita Amansek, Malasaki Kapwa. 2 oras ng aksyon, ng tulong, ng puso. Malasakit Kapwa. 1:00 hanggang 3:00 ng hapon. Malasakit Kapwa. Mapapanood at mapakikinggan sa DZRJ 8:10 AM sa Radyo Bandido TV.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Sorry. Nalubat, hindi nag-charge. Thank you, Anel.
Thank you, Nell. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, so to continue,
Oo. Yan. Sige. To continue, we only have 5 minutes. So I think we have to
parap up na rin tayo
wrap up na rin
Oo.
tayo. Hindi natin matatapos. Anyway, itutuloy natin sa next
Week.
episode
Okay.
on Saturday, yung tungkol sa Patsy. Kasi ang sarap matutunan yan.
Mm.
Sobrang sarap. Tsaka, ang nangyari nga ho sa amin ni G, kaya kami mas lalong naniwala sa Batsuis because maraming nangyari sa amin na talagang, ito pala yun.
Mhm.
Diba? Yung parang na-prove natin sa sarili natin na yun talaga yung truth about Batsy. Talagang we experienced it ourselves. Personal experience. So, we hope that we had, kasi meron kaming closing song for everyone. Because we hope that next Saturday again, we'll see you again. Okay? And we'll be seeing you again and again for the next many, many years. Okay?
Meron ka ba lyric dyan?
Meron.
Always ready
Oo.
Sige, let's
Ano kasi
try.
ako? Girl Scout ako.
Okay.
I'm also singing this for my cousin, more than a sister to me, for Ate Becky and Kuya Dodi, kasi they'll be leaving soon and they'll be away for 7 months. So, well, here's a song for you and for everyone who's tuned in. Paborito ko po ito. Parang ang dami kong paborito. That's what I'm doing. I'll always think of you that way. I'll say in that's like I always love you that way. When the night is through, I'll be alone, but I'll be seeing you. Sumabog pa sa dulo, no?
Okay lang.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we hope to see you again next Saturday. And we hope that the week ahead is a pleasant one for everyone. And so we'll be getting vaccinated next week. And pray for me that I won't have a panic attack. So thank you so much, everyone. And good night, Rani. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the show.
Okay.
Also,
Vicky.
si BFF Roldan Reyes, Vix, Nieng,
Jolene Lingan.
Kay San, Jolene
Yes.
Lingan, Sammy, Agustin, and Marge Kasawara. Thank you so much for staying with us. For the
Pinky
past 2
on
hours.
TV and Lace.
Pinky on TV, and hopefully Lace, thank you so much for all the food you sent. And Vix also, thank you.
Oo. Nel, thank you.
Thank you,
Just do
Nell.
that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
Hi, this is RJ. It's coming. The biggest RJ Guitar Center sale of the year. The legendary 3-day RJ birthday sale. Friday, June 4, Saturday, June 5, Sunday, June 6. This is your chance to buy your dream guitar, ukulele, drums, percussion, keyboards, amplifiers, strings, cables, accessories, mic stands. All the items in all our 10 stores are on sale. Same discount apply to online sales. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 20% off. 12:01 p.m. to 2 p.m., 30% off. 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., 40% off. Now listen to this. 1 hour before mall closing, 50% off on all the items. Except Taylor Guitars, 10%. Strictly no reservations. Cash, credit cards, PayMaya, Home Credit, and GCash are accepted. Our branches are located in SM Mall of Asia, SM Mega Mall, SM Fairview, Market Taguig, SM Dasmariñas Cavite, Glorieta 2 Makati, SM North EDSA, SM Sukat, Festival Mall Alabang, and SM City Lipa. For inquiries, call our hotline 0977-812-1186. You can view all our items at Shopee and Lazada or our Facebook page, RJ Guitar Center. I may be getting older, but my guitars are getting younger. So enjoy the discounts on my birthday sale. 3 days. June 4 Friday, June 5 Saturday, June 6 Sunday. Get ready.